Hello and welcome to the Big Show. This is Dim Lights and Stiff Drinks, the dive bars of Seattle. We were interested in those watering holes, taverns, and neighborhood bars with a long history and an interesting backstory. As always, we're not recording this in 4 different places, are we?
No, negative.
We are recording this in one place, and that would be the bar that we are partying at.
Live on location.
That's right. We record live and push the boat out in the places where future regrets are made and bad decisions happen. This week, we are at Fiddler's Inn in Wedgwood. Thank you to the house band, Satan's Pilgrims, for starting the party off right. Please like, share, subscribe, and give us a 5-star review. Any support for the podcast is much appreciated. Now, let's say hi to the crew. Dim Lights is a Bob Trombley production, and here driving the bus is producer supreme Bob Trombley.
Honk, honk, hey now. How's everybody doing?
We're doing good. To my right is resident Swords Gourmand, J to the Izzo. Jeremy, what's your nickname tonight?
How about MC Barrel Aged?
No, it's not MC Plenty?
Shh.
All right. Across from me is resident historian Brad. How you doing tonight, Brad?
Hello, everybody.
I'm Sweet Lou, and I'm thrilled to be here because it's my first time here. How about you guys? Anybody been in here before?
I have been here before, yeah.
Yeah, a couple times.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm stone's throw, up the street here, so we've been cruising down here for a couple of times over the years. Yeah.
And it's right in your wheelhouse. They take their tap list seriously. So.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to get into that.
We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Interesting choices tonight, for sure.
Spoiler alert, we're going to be talking about this beer they have on tap called Pliny the Elder, which was on our bucket list. We were going to have a episode at a bar that served
beer
Pliny.
drinker's bucket list. Absolutely.
Yeah, you go to Beer Advocate and it's got 14,000 5-star reviews. It's the best beer of all time. I ordered it, and the bartender was immediately like, "It's not the best beer of all time. Shut up." Everybody says that. I was like, calm down. There is no such thing as the best beer of all time.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly what the bartender meant. So good for him.
Right on. So, Brad, this place has been a bar since 1933.
Correct.
And Prohibition wasn't repealed until December 1933, but in April, the Cullen-Harrison Act was signed, which allowed people to make low-octane beer.
That's correct.
And so I'm guessing this bar is probably on the short list of taverns that got the first liquor licenses in Seattle. Is that?
I believe so, yeah. I believe you're right about that.
Is that right? If you could tell us a little bit about the
Illuminate
history of the
you
bar.
onto the history?
Illuminate me.
Well,
Question, is there fiddling?
there might be some fiddling involved, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know how you were able to, guess that, but it's a good guess, because yes, there is some
That's not a
fiddling
good
involved.
soundbite for this episode. There's fiddling involved.
Yeah. And that pertains to Lou, by the way. There's no fiddling on my part. It's all the fiddling is with Lou.
Yeah, my hands are under the table. Get ready, boys.
Sweet mother fiddling Lou.
All right, so the story of the Fiddler's Inn is really the musical story of the man who started this tavern, and that man is Walt Haynes. Walt Haynes grew up on a farm in the Midwest, but from a very early age, music was always his true passion. He played a wide range of musical instruments, everything from various horns to the fiddle, and his life's dream was always to make it in the world of music and entertainment. In the early 1920s, Walt left home at the age of 15, intending to make it to Hollywood to begin a life in showbiz, but ended up landing in Seattle. It was supposed to be a stopover for him, but his ability to play a variety of musical instruments helped land him various gigs, and at the ripe old age of 16, he joined an orchestra that played at Seattle's Olympic Hotel.
Nice. It's a high-profile gig.
At 16 years old.
It's the fanciest hotel in town for our listener who doesn't live here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I could barely make it to school when I was 16. And this guy's going across the country and landing a gig with an orchestra. So, yeah, props to him. It's not known exactly why Walt never made it to Hollywood, but the music and the entertainment scene was lively in Seattle in the 1920s, so Walt found plenty of work. Walt enjoyed a successful career as a professional musician in Seattle until the Great Depression hit in the 1930s. Because of the Depression, people no longer had money to go out for music and entertainment, so jobs in the music business dried up and were increasingly hard to find. It was also around this time that Prohibition ended, as you were mentioning, Lou, and Walt observed that a lot of people were opening up beer parlors, so he decided to try it himself. Thus, in 1933, the Fiddler's Inn was born, the name, of course, being a tribute to his love of music. Walt actually built the Fiddler's Inn himself. There's 2 rooms, or at least there were originally 2 rooms in the back where he and his family lived. And we've covered a few places over the last few years of taverns where...
Echo Lake Tavern.
Daryl's Tavern, that crazy mafia guy lived above it.
Yep.
I want to say somewhere else, too.
At Daryl's, that was just his pied-à-terre where he'd meet his Domar.
Yeah, I think so.
Too much French.
So Walt, after it opened, he hired a bartender named Sid, who was also a musician, and lived just a few doors away from here. Walt and Sid were a real show business team, and they used to play music for the customers. It was during this time that Walt started using spoons as a musical instrument to help keep things musically entertaining, and evenings at the Fiddler's Inn were often spent with everyone joining in for song and dance.
Is he
spoons.
the Spoon Man?
He's the original spoon man. So he was the first one to start using spoons as a musical instrument. Which is a weird instrument
the
to take up.
Soundgarden Spoon Man?
No, that's another one.
No,
We're gonna get to
that's a
that.
different Spoon Man.
You're jumping ahead.
Yep, okay.
Artemis, is that guy's name? But
Thank you.
Nice.
Thank you.
So yeah, back to what we always say. Everything started in Seattle.
That's
Including
right.
the musical spoons.
We invented
Spoon
we,
Man.
invent, we invented spoons. Invented fiddlers.
Thank you.
He took the spoons really seriously, especially in the 1950s when he began developing his musical spoons as a business. And in 1958, he patented them and began appearing on the Lawrence Welk show under the name Mr. Spoons.
Mr. Spoons.
So he was legit. I mean, if you're on the Lawrence Welk
the
show,
Spoon Man.
yeah,
You
Yeah.
just probably
Mr. Spoons.
YouTube that, our listeners.
There probably are YouTube clips of them. I would imagine. I'd be surprised if there weren't.
Nobody grew up watching Lawrence Welk. No.
I watched it with my
Myth.
grandparents.
Myth.
When I would stay at my grandparents, they would watch it, and I would watch it with them.
Lawrence Welk.
But you at least watched a couple episodes at some point, the bubbles and stuff, and you know what I'm talking
about. It was
about.
in the dead zone after football, before.
It was usually
Animal
on like
Kingdom
Saturday,
came on.
right?
It was Lawrence Welk.
Yeah.
It's a great show, but not nearly as good as the SNL parodies of that great show.
Right. So anyway, this whole thing with spoons continued in the early 60s. When the World's Fair opened up in 1962, for instance, Walt set up a sales booth at the fair and spent the next 6 months
Selling spoons?
musical spoons to the tourists.
Wow.
And I guess
All
he did a
right.
pretty good business. It was soon after this that he reportedly sold the Fiddler's Inn to focus on his music career, which had always been his true passion.
Do you think Walt had different levels of spoons? He had the entry level musical spoons, and then the pro level.
I don't know, man.
More
like
tunes.
the ones he
and-
busted out when he went on Lawrence Welk. I don't know. Maybe. Like practice spoons.
Yeah, practice ones that are kind of cheaper, and
Maybe a pair if his friends were coming over and he wanted to show them,
Damn
like
straight.
kind of the middle spoons. Yeah,
some gold-plated ones with some etchings in
You
it.
think he went pretty pimped out on it?
I think so.
You think so?
Yeah, let's go with that.
We talking like gems, diamonds? What are we talking?
Bedazzled spoons.
Bedazzled spoons?
Yes.
If my kid wants to get into spoons, he's starting up I'm just going to say, grab some from the silverware drawer. And then if you really take it seriously and do your practice,
Then we'll
I'll
talk
get you
about
some
it.
Lawrence Welk gold-plated spoons.
Yeah, the first act entry-level spoons. Yeah, and then you work your way up to the Yamaha.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and then finally you get your Fender.
So this is a quick side note to all the spoon talk, though. So during this period, when Walt was actually marketing his musical spoons, a Seattle area mother purchased a pair at a local 5 and dime store and brought them home to her son, who immediately fell in love with them
Artemis?
and taught himself the art of spoon playing. He would later become a busker at the Pike Place Market, where he played spoons for appreciative tourists. And in the 1990s, Soundgarden would write a song about him. And who are we talking about, Lou?
Spoon Man.
Artist
Come
the
together
Spoon Man.
with your plan.
Yeah. Did you guys ever see him at the Pike Place
Yeah, I
Market?
did.
Me too. Yeah,
I did.
I mean,
Yep.
back in the 90s.
Yeah, hell yeah.
It was entertaining as hell. He did
He
a good
was
job with them.
very good.
He jammed with the spoons.
Yeah, very good.
He got
Very
down.
entertaining.
As
But
weird as the spoons are as an instrument, he knew how to play them.
I'm a little concerned that he got his spoons at a 5 and dime, right? So
Well, that was
were
his
those
original.
Was those some shitty knockoff spoons? That
Well,
he
those
got
were the
at
ones
5 and
that this
not
Walt
not
Haynes was
Walt's.
selling.
Oh, really? The
Yeah,
5 and dime, the
he was
cheap ones, huh?
selling them. Yeah, he had
So
marketed
they were
them.
legit.
They were legit. They were sold at stores everywhere.
You got Woolworths pick up
Yes.
his line.
Yeah.
That kind of five and dime, not Goodwill. They got them at
at Woolworths
legitimate
or-
retail.
yeah.
I see an interest sparked in Jeremy about these spoons. I sense a Google search after the episode's over and maybe an order being placed.
He's left some money on the table. He just needed to go up market. Yeah. Cater to the wealthy musicians that are looking for the esoteric instruments.
Well, anyway, so back to this place. So after Walt sold the place in the 1960s, the Fiddler's Inn went through a series of owners, and over the ensuing years, it reportedly fell into a state of deep disrepair. I guess it became a biker bar. It was a true dive. There was even a lot of talk about just demoing the place and building something else. But in 1994, a new group took over ownership, and the main guy that was part of this group worked really hard to restore the old tavern back to its original rustic charm that we see today. So today, the Fiddler's Inn continues to operate as a local gathering spot where folks come to enjoy fresh cooked food, craft beers, and guest musical performances. So the same owner, the guy that bought it in '94 and restored it, still owns it to this day. I was just talking to the bartender about it, and I guess he's like really was into architecture and restoration and things like that. So you can see it here. I mean, this is
Yeah, and
a
it
really
doesn't
cool
look
vibe.
like a fresh restore, like all the sort of benches and booths. There's chips and it's worn, and it looks
Yeah.
like it.
It's not
Yeah.
it's not,
If
not
it
a
had been-
swanky remodel. This
It's not
is like
swanky, but it's warm and cozy. It's
exactly,
rustic.
and clearly
rustic
clearly
and
an
cozy.
eye to the original architecture and
Yeah.
an eye to the what was here originally. But you can see like little hints about
Yeah.
how I can totally imagine how that this place was dilapidated and about to like fall in on
Yeah.
itself, and somebody came in and said, "Well, we could probably fix this up."
Well, I guess he didn't, when Walt built it, because, I mentioned he built it himself, he didn't put a foundation in it for whatever reason, so that had to be remedied back in the early 90s.
So it's got a little cabin feel. It's starting to sell. There's a big slope to the
It doesn't
floor.
feel like it, so I don't see any weird slopes here, but maybe.
Don't put an egg on the floor.
So that is the story of the Fiddler's Inn. It doesn't have any crime stories, scandals, or any seedy history.
Nothing?
Rather, it is simply an old drinking establishment that is directly tied into Seattle's musical past.
I
you
find that
mentioned-
hard to believe. If you said this was a biker bar where they almost took the place to the ground,
Yeah.
there's got to be some
No,
crime
I
blotter.
searched far and wide, and the most scandalous thing I could find is back in 1948. They lost their liquor license for a week because an underage person was served beer, and so they, took their liquor license away for a week.
All right. Satan's
That's a-
Pilgrims, play the police song anyway. 1948.
Yeah.
Almost lost our liquor license
that's
for
about
serving beer to a
the
minor.
biggest infraction at this place. Yeah. It's pretty
Amazing.
clean.
Huh.
And here we are now. This place is pretty good size, it's got and a relatively small bar, which is a little unusual for our typical dive bar haunts, right?
Yeah.
Usually they're bar forward with like a little bit of space left over for other crap, right? This is kind of the opposite. It's got a big, almost a restaurant feel to it, lots of tables and stuff like this, but it is 21 and over, right? So
Correct.
it's a great example of how they could change stuff around if they wanted to, make it all ages. They serve food, wouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
It has a kind of a restaurant, but no, they chose to stay true to their roots and remain a 21 and up
That's
bar.
a good point. It's a simple fix. They just have to put a little barrier
Yep.
between the bar and the restaurant, and
Could
boom.
do it, but they decided not to. Yeah,
I mean, that's a good question.
Get the fuck out, under 21s.
What would a place like this have to do if they wanted to become all ages?
Like literally what I just said, put a barrier
Yeah.
between the bar
have to
and the
separate the bar
seating
from the
restaurant
regular-
area.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Is that it? Okay. Why though? What does that change? Really?
Nothing.
Well, you keep all the
Stupid logic.
annoying ass kids out of here, right?
Right.
It's a place to party down. It's not a place to.
But that is a weird rule, right? Like, if you just build a wall between the bar and here, suddenly it can be all ages. Like, what does that really change?
Nothing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Welcome
Well, I
to
mean,
Washington.
you know better than any of us, right? There are all sorts of stupid ass old legacy laws on the books
Sure.
that say if you want to serve liquor, you must do this stupid ass shit from 1940 or whatever,
Sure,
right? Now,
sure.
walls and barriers and blinds and a Zion curtain and all sorts of crap.
You got to close at a certain time.
Oh, yeah.
And serve this food and
No, seriously, that's a thing.
Or no, it's a perfect example is, remember is the Elysian Tap Room on Capitol Hill still open?
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
it is.
But anyway, that's all ages. And our friend Bill, who was a beer distributor for many years, it's because the tap lines go up through the ceiling, actually.
Oh, is
And
that their...
That gives them an out.
That's their out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which sounds...
We don't want the kids
Crazy.
to have to see the tap lines because that would
Yeah.
that would corrupt
think
them.
about what
corrupt their-
crazy
their
shit kids
young
are
mind.
watching on their phones now, but we don't want them to see a keg of beer. Like, think about the children.
Yeah.
What a weird world we live in.
And no cleavage. Absolutely
Oh,
not.
no, hell no.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of outdoor seating here. And
Yeah.
it doesn't look like it was COVID built. This is probably been there
Yeah, nice
forever.
little patio. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not a pop-up with PVC and picnic tables. It's actually looks like part of the bar, but it's outside.
Completely
Very cool.
plastered with beer and cider signs, which is always a plus. Always a plus.
Yeah. Now might be a good time for us to talk about what are we drinking, because
Yeah, as we mentioned previously,
Choices here.
Fiddler's takes their tap list seriously. They have
Hell yeah.
Pliny the Elder, which, if you go to Beer Advocate, it's got 15,000 five-star reviews, supposedly one of the best beers in the country.
One of the best beers
and
in
Lou
the
and
world.
I each got a glass tonight, our first ever that we're excited about,
Yeah.
and I think we're in agreement about this, right, Lou? That
Yeah, say the Beer Festival line.
yeah, it's good, but it tastes like 20 other IPAs that I've had, if not more.
There's some people that be like, "That's fighting words, boy."
But why? There's nothing that really stands out about it. And I'm not
No,
dissing the beer. It's a
it's true.
good beer.
Yeah.
But I'm just kind of baffled as to how it became so legendary, because there's nothing to me that really elevates it to that status.
Well, I think we need some guests on the podcast that can talk about what you just described is a phenomenon of the mystique of certain beers, right?
Sure,
But it
yeah.
also happens with the mystique of certain wines, certain bourbons, certain whiskeys, certain anything you can think of. There's
You have salmon and Copper River and Canyon.
Yeah, Copper
absolutely,
River.
yeah.
The Copper River salmon's coming in.
And it's like, what, $60 a pound?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. It's
Yeah.
good salmon, but
It was a blind taste test.
But
you are totally right.
I don't-
You
I
are
don't know.
Happy
exactly
Van
right.
Winkle, 500 bucks.
exactly.
I've never had Pappy, but I
2,000,
imagine it's
2,500.
I imagine it's the same.
Let's
I
bring
imagine
in
if we had
somebody
some-
who is a super snooty, wine snob, whiskey snob, bourbon snob, or something
State
like that,
their
to
case.
explain why the hell you would spend $500 or more, or way more in some cases, for a bottle of X, Y, and Z. Because
Yeah.
the same thing applies to beers. Certain beers have the mystique. Pliny the Elder has a huge reputation, like you said.
Well, people
considered one of the
lose
best in
their
the world,
minds
literally,
over
right?
it. Yeah.
J-Dog, to that, I said we should go to West Seattle, see my guys Nick and Gray. Nick was taking that thing, I forget what it's called, but whatever it is, it's like a sommelier for beer. He's going to take that class. I don't know if he passed there or not. But they're
A
open
beerlier.
up their own range early on the top of 36, and they do I'm just throwing it out there because they know their stuff. And they've got these the beer junction under the 2 Elysian.
Yeah. So they might be a good source
I
to
would just say they're pretty good.
consult with about this. Yeah.
All right. So we'll do an episode over there, or we'll bring them on, special guest for another episode or something, right? Yeah, that would be fun. So I talked about how my name for this episode, MC
Jay
Barrel
Plenty.
Aged. Yeah, Jay,
Jay the Elder.
AKA
the Elder.
AKA
That's gotta stick.
MC Barrel Aged, right? And the reason I said is not because Pliny the Elder is a barrel aged, although I believe Russian River has a barrel aged version of it, super limited release, good luck, super expensive, whatever. But they don't have this, Fiddler's Inn does not have a barrel aged on tap, which I thought was a little unusual because they're super popular right
Yeah.
now, right? Even some of the dive bars that we've been to recently that have a very, very limited tap selection, they might have a barrel aged on tap, and it's just kind of I think that's a little bit of a Northwest, Pacific Northwest phenomenon. We're kind of beer snobs around here. Even the dive bars is going to have something, pretty highfalutin.
Yeah. When we recently came across the sour,
That's
we talked
right.
about in a recent.
Yeah,
So we're
that's
coming
right.
across certain ones that are popping up.
Yep.
Well, do you know what they
sour
don't
sour
have
on
here,
tap
Jeremy?
here? What?
No Georgetown.
Wait, when it comes to off being Rubens, Georgetown to the you're right.
I know. No
Wow.
Manny's.
I'm okay with that.
No Bodie.
I'm okay with that.
No Johnny
no,
Utah.
No dig against Georgetown. They're a great brewery, but I'm okay with having a place that
You've always
doesn't
taken
have.
over the world.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You're going to hear this and be like, "What doesn't have our beer?" Sales guy, get your ass up there.
Get over there
I
now.
would say the top list here is more carefully curated.
Definitely.
You can tell whoever has
Definitely.
put together this top list knows their stuff.
Yeah, this is
you know,
a premium, like somebody who knows their beers is putting this tap list together
Yeah.
for sure. No, yeah, and
What are you
Rain
drinking,
Dog.
Jeremy?
to that point, no super shitty beers that you typically see in there's no Rainier, Coors Light, or whatever. And I'm fine with that. Others would be like, oh hell no, I'm leaving, right?
Yeah.
But to your point, no Georgetown, but probably the closest I would say would be a Rubens, right? So
Yeah.
Rubens brews.
You can get that at Walgreens.
However, what is on tap here at Fiddler's Inn is a Rubens Goss, which is pretty damn close to, like you said, a sour.
Yeah.
Very kind of esoteric acquired taste beer. So just perfect example of that. This is a very curated list for real beer lovers.
But what's in your cup?
Yeah, I was just going to ask that
Well, you two mofos are drinking the Russian River Pliny the Elder.
We're drinking
Good
Jay the
for you.
Pliny.
That's right, Jay the Pliny. I decided to I'll work my way up to Pliny the Elder. I started off with something a little different. It is Watts Brewing Pollen Bubbles IPA. It's a hazy IPA, which again, very, very popular style right now. Lots of hazies just about everywhere we've been over
too.
the last year.
Who did you say the brewer was?
Watts Brewery.
Where are
Is
they
it-
located?
They
And
are
they're located in Watts, South Central Los Angeles.
Are they from
Watts, LA
California?
No.
Okay.
I think they're in Woodinville.
Well, Russian River is Russian River from California?
They are. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
they're down in the
kinda Bay
Wine
Area.
Valley. Yeah,
Up above the Bay Area.
that's right. Yeah, but to your point, really finely curated list. I would say kind of hyper local, which a lot of the dive bars we've been to, they got the local beers, they got the Rubens, they got the Georgetowns and the stuff like that. But we're going pretty far afield. I'm seeing, like you said, you got the Russian River out of California. We got some Oregon beers. Got Bowie and Matchless. We got one that I'm gonna have to do a little bit of research and figure out where the heck these guys are. McGirrup Irish Red. I'll have to get back to you for the episode about the
Yeah, I'm not
history of that
familiar
one.
with that either.
I'm not familiar either, so we'll do a little research and get back to our listeners.
I think it's from Ireland.
Let's go with that.
It starts with a Mick. It's from.
We got a couple of my favorites: Black Raven over in Woodinville again, and Rogue
Yep.
Brewery Nitro Stout on tap, which is always a winner. Always a winner.
Nice.
Yeah. Some good choices for sure.
So yeah, I'm excited to get round two.
Absolutely.
I don't know if I should get another Jay the Elder or
Well,
mix it up a little
really
bit.
kind of depends on how much you liked it, right?
When I looked it up online, the beer that I was most excited to try isn't here, and it was called Liquid Swords, the Four Chambers.
Oh, really? A Wu-Tang reference?
Yeah, total Wu-Tang reference.
Okay.
Wow.
Giza Liquid Swords.
I would
solo
have
album,
absolutely
and,
avoided that beer.
Enter the Wu-Tang
Yeah.
36 Chambers, but they're
Absolutely.
out of it. They sold out because it's probably so awesome. So I'm
Fun
gonna try something
fact,
else.
if somebody's listening to this episode fresh when it just dropped, Wu-Tang coming to concert here in Seattle.
Are they?
Yeah, a couple of months. Yeah, Nas.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And where's that going to be?
More?
Well, there's a lot of good shows coming up. I mean, Depeche Mode,
Hell yeah.
Peter Gabriel.
Mm-hmm.
And you're
Who's
seeing
going to Depeche Mode and Peter Gabriel? Or no, I'm going to The Cure.
Yeah, we got
And
the Cure
Peter
coming.
Gabriel.
I think I'm going to try to
Barbara
get some
got us
tickets for
tickets for
Gabriel.
both of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of good music coming.
There is. And then Bumper Shoot, the lineup just dropped today. Did you guys see that?
No, who's kind of the big
Oh,
names?
God. It's like Sunny Day Real Estate, The
Nice.
Descendants.
It's like old school Seattle
Yeah,
list.
yeah. And that's what a lot of
Nice.
people are excited about. Because
Nice.
like in the past 10 years, they dropped a lineup and everyone's like, who are these bands? I've never heard of them before. At least if you're over the age of 30. This, though, they're more targeting it towards like the Gen X and the millennials. And there's some good bands. Yeah.
Nice.
Sleater Kinney.
Nice.
Some good punk. Yeah. It's a good lineup.
Old school Bumbershoot. It's about time we brought it back.
Exactly.
And
that's what I
tickets
was
are
saying, too.
only $700.
No, that's the thing this year. They wanted to get away from that, like
Yeah.
paying for Kanye West to come play at Bumbershoot.
Right.
And it's like,
I think
and
it's
they're
like $50
$300
a day, which
Yeah.
is in today's day and
Alright,
age, it's
okay.
pretty reasonable.
All right.
it's
Yeah.
free.
That's practically free. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to go get round 2,
Yeah.
and we're going to let Brad eat his. You got a roast
like a
beef
Reuben or
sandwich
something?
there?
Some pub fare.
Nice. All right. Satan's Pilgrims, take us out. All right, we're back for round 2 here at Fiddler's Inn in Wedgwood. As you can hear, the place has gotten a little louder. Mm-hmm.
Crowd's starting
we
to come
got a
in.
hard cutoff tonight at 7 o'clock at Thursdays. Come on up to Fiddler's Inn. There's live music every
Yeah,
Thursday.
live band setting up right now as we
And
speak.
yeah, there's a speaker like 5 feet from Brad's head, so that thing's going to kick in. It's going to kick in hard, and we'll be out of here. So we did get round 2. Jeremy, what's in your cup?
Well, this is a good one, right? So, it was a Rubens, like we were talking about just before we took the break here. But the style of beer is Gose. No, don't say it. Don't say it. Gose. Take all the listeners, take a second to think to yourself, how is that pronounced? Because I had a great conversation with the bartender about how Gose, the style of beer, is pronounced.
A lot of time on your hands.
Exactly. But lively conversation. It was fun. The bartender was very adamant about the correct pronunciation of the beer.
So let's all take a crack at it. Jeremy, you tell us the right. Brad, how do you say it?
Gose, style of beer.
I don't know, honestly.
Say a word.
No, it's not pronounced. I don't know.
Gose.
Gose. Okay, gose. Gose or goeies, like a gooey duck or something. Sure.
I'm
okay.
saying goose.
Goose. Okay. Goose. Gose. Goey. Okay. So the bartender first said, "Well, the correct pronunciation is Gose." Gose. And I was like, Gose. And I was like, "Are you sure about that?" He's like, "Yes." Very adamant. Like, I know its correct pronunciation is Gose. And I was like, okay, well, I know from experience I love this style of beer, but if you ask 3 different people about how it's pronounced, you're going to get 3 different answers. And all 3 of them are going to be like, no, the correct pronunciation is goosey or whatever the fuck, right?
Goosey.
So, Gose, and so I but the bartender and I were going back and forth, and I challenged the bartender, and I was like, "How do you know that?" It's like you obviously are very sure about your whatever. I'm not gonna question your authority here, but I'm saying, how do you know? And he's like, "Well, let me see." And he whips out his phone, of course, pulls up Google, and he's like doing all this kind of stuff. So he's like, apparently Google says it's ghost. So it's either ghost or gose, depending on whether you believe Bing or Google.
Or bingle.
Or bingo.
So I was actually quite impressed with the bartender, who clearly knows his stuff, had a contribution to the tap list that we were just discussing. So this is a beer guy, but he was willing to say, okay, I thought it was X, but Google says it is something a little different. So Gose to Goss? I don't know. I think our listeners should chime in on what they think. Gose.
Well, tell us how does it taste
it is
to
a
you?
delicious beer. It is a sour family of beer. Goses are a Belgian style coming over, a sour style from Belgium. It's quite delicious. This is the Rubens. I've had it before. Very good. It's pretty darn sour. It is definitely an acquired taste. Lots of people will drink this and be like, "Oh my god, it's like it's gone bad. What the hell are you drinking?" Right? No, it's like that. It's intentional that way. Kind of like an extra hoppy IPA. Some people taste it and like, "Yeah, it tastes like dishwater." It's like, well, no, I love it. It's an acquired taste.
It's a side note. Can I tell you a little story? We talked about sours when we were at which was it, Fifth or was it?
Yeah, Old Fifth Avenue. That's
Yeah,
right.
Old Fifth.
That's right.
And we were joking about, you just take the dust from the trolley gummy worms and throw it in a beer.
Sour Patch Kids. Sour Patch Kids.
I did that.
Oh no,
Did you?
did not.
Yeah.
Oh,
For science,
oh
what was
my
the result?
God.
It's not dissimilar.
Oh.
I'm not surprised to hear that, actually.
Yeah.
More importantly, what color did it turn the beer?
Well, it was white pixie dust, so not too different.
Okay.
But yeah,
You made your own glacé.
I made my own gassé.
Nice.
Pennies on the dollar.
Well, there
Follow
you
me
go.
for more recipes.
Take some Bud Light, put in some Sour Patch Kids, and got you say a snooty beer.
There you go.
You heard it
What
here
did you-
first.
What did you get for round 2, Brad?
So I got the matchless lager, and I really like it. In fact, may I be so bold as to say I like it more than Pliny the Elder. I know we just lost like half of our fans. I know, sacrilege, but yeah.
No,
But I've been getting into lagers a lot
props.
more
Yeah,
lately.
props,
I
Brad.
got
It's
kind
a
of
good beer.
It is a good beer, and I've gotten kind of burned out on IPAs. I still like them, but just not all the time. So
Yeah.
I've kind of been drawn more towards lagers and appreciating them more lately. And this is a damn good lager. So thumbs
So
up.
the bartender described that as a Czech-style lager.
It's a what style?
Czech-style
Okay.
lager.
Okay.
Yeah. Similar to kind of the German Pilsners, but their Czech version of it. So you
Yeah.
like it?
I do like it a lot.
Excellent. Excellent. All right.
So I got the E9 Brewing. It's called Michelle is a Gamer,
Michelle is a gamer.
which I got because it reminded me of Sheena's a punk rocker. So I couldn't stop.
Yeah. What's the verdict?
Delicious.
Okay.
Actually,
Excellent.
yeah, I might
Great.
say it's
Good name for a beer.
better than I'm not gonna.
Go ahead, say it.
It's better than Pliny the Elder.
Oh.
It's better than the best beer in the world.
Yeah, well,
Yeah, what
it
are you
is
gonna do?
eye of the beholder. Yeah.
And Bob, you've got a Winehart's root beer.
Henry, a classic for sure.
That is a
Henry
classic.
Weinhardt's.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's
out
the
of,
verdict on that
out
one?
Of Portland.
5 out of 5 stars. Nice.
Bob's favorite root beer.
All right, away we go. So, you guys want to talk about where we're at?
This is Wedgwood, but
Right.
are we kind of like on the edge of U District, or no?
You're on
Few-
the edge
few
of
blocks, right?
Ravenna.
A few blocks up north of Ravenna, a few blocks south is like the edge of U District, or no? Are we?
Yeah,
got to go another
65th
mile.
is Ravenna, and then you go down the hill and you're in U
Northgate?
Village.
Well, we're kind of close to Northgate
Yeah.
neighborhood too, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Kind
Head
of border
west.
a few different
Yeah,
neighborhoods.
head west, you're in Northgate.
Yeah.
Head south, you're in U District.
Yeah.
exactly. Not too far away from the Fifth Ave, exactly. So when you ask me where we're at, I'm going to say, welcome to Wedgwood. If you lived here, you'd be home now.
That's right. And
That's right.
You could probably drive your drone over to Old Fifth Avenue.
I could, and it's that kind of party. Wedgwood's pretty much the only neighborhood we've been to so far that's straight residential. There are some businesses to support the neighborhood, but you wouldn't call it a tweener, which in
No.
Dim Light's parlance is a neighborhood that is also on an arterial. So even if you don't live here, you drive through here every day on your way to your final destination.
Well, speaking of residential, I mean, this place just like fits into the residential
And
neighborhood.
it's a
that it's
freaking house.
surrounded by.
We're in a freaking
Yeah,
house.
we're in a house.
Right? It's a
Yeah.
house.
We are
We just
in a
happen to have a
house.
bar in the corner.
Right.
That's right. And so, but if you're in Wedgwood, this is your final destination. It is tween something, though. It's tween a bunch of other residential neighborhoods.
Yeah.
South of Meadowbrook, north of Ravenna and Bryant, the forgotten neighborhood Bryant, and twixt View Ridge and Sandpoint to the east,
Sandpoint.
and Maple Leaf to the west. Aside from the wonderful people that live here and Fiddler's Inn, the most exciting thing about Wedgwood is that we have all been spelling it wrong our whole lives. You want to take a crack at it, Bob? Spell Wedgwood.
Wedge.
Oh, that's where you fucked up. No second E. W-E-D-G Wood.
Are you sure about that?
I'm absolutely sure about that.
That's weird. It's a weird
He
spelling.
queried the city planners from 1907, and they confirmed no
As a
second E.
writer, that just gave me like a weird twitch. hearing
I
that there's no
know.
E on
Yeah,
it.
spell
That
check.
doesn't make sense.
Spell check is going to say no, Lou. You're wrong.
It's not like the word wedge. It's not the thin end of the wedge.
No.
It's Wedgwood.
It's actually pronounced Wedgwood.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, in terms of where we're at, we are off to the races. Wedgwood, exciting.
Well,
So,
you asked what the best thing about Wedgwood is. I'd have to say probably this place and Top Hot Donuts.
Absolutely. In our last episode, we were in Ballard on Ballard Ave, which is a vibrant commercial strip that's 100 years old. All brick buildings that are protected on the National Register. Even the streets are made of brick. What's the other most exciting thing about Wedgwood? A big rock.
Gold bricks?
A big rock.
Big rock.
A big rock. It's called the Wedgwood Rock, and it's a
Wedgwood
leftover from the Vashon Glacier.
What?
It's down the street. It's about 20 feet high and 75 feet around, and it has been protected from development. Like Ballard, they were really hot to protect this rock.
It's a little sad, though, because A, I never even heard of it, and B, I don't think I've ever seen it.
Well, on the way home,
I'm
stop
take a
by
little
the
detour.
Wedgwood Rock.
Yeah, a little detour.
And so the neighbors fought to save it in the 40s when it was in danger of being developed, and they got their way. They're like, you can't get rid of the rock. How am I going to tell people what I live next to?
Turn left at the rock!
Turn left at the rock. Right, exactly. The rock was saved, but not the land around it. And although it's surrounded by houses that were developed in the 40s, the rock remained a destination for picnickers and climbers that used it as a practice rock. And then in the late
It's a
60s
scrambling rock.
It's a scrambling
Nice.
rock. That's right. Jay,
Class
you know the
5
lingo.
scrambling rock.
And in the late 60s, it was a destination for hippies. And
It's a smoking rock.
in reaction to those dirty hippies, the neighbors started complaining to the police about drug use at the rock. So the city council passed an ordinance in 1969 making it a crime to climb the rock to discourage people from partying there.
So you can't climb it, but you can still smoke dope around it.
That's right.
That's perfectly
But
legal.
If you want to climb it, the fine was $100 in 1969,
Wow, damn.
which in today's dollars
They
is
didn't
like
play
a
around.
$2,000 fine for climbing the
Wow.
rock. So to our listener, if you want to get all hepped up on hippie goofballs and climb the rock, don't do it.
$100, biatch.
Yeah, and
And you
the
can
s-
spray paint your ass all over the place, and there's no fine for that. But climb on top of it, $100.
that's right. And the same woman that called the cops in 1969 still lives there, and she is looking out the window, looking for those dirty hippies climbing on the rock. So stay away from
I
the
got
rocks.
a
is what we're
ring
saying.
cam now, bitches.
So what else about Wedgwood? Oh, Seattle's oldest and largest pea patch is in Wedgwood.
Where are you going, pee?
And that's another thing I've been spelling wrong my entire life. I thought it was pea like the vegetables you grow there, but it's capital P.
I knew that.
Pea patch. And,
Dash.
Yeah.
and that stands for Picardo, the family who farmed the land from the 20s to the 60s. It's
Seattle,
a Picardo patch.
Seattle
Wait,
invented
now where did this
pea patches.
Picardo, was this here in Seattle or where was this exactly?
It's in Wedgwood, bitch. You're not
Wedgwood.
listening.
So the Picardos were in Wedgwood.
Yeah, and the largest, original, best goddamn
So
pea patch
is
here.
Wedgwood the original source of pea patches?
That is correct. Everything
Oh, wow.
comes from Seattle. And it's not a pea patch, it's a Picardo patch.
Picardo patch.
Deal with it.
Oh my God! At the next party, I'm gonna drop Picardo patch and just blow everybody's fucking mind. Yeah, you're like, what?
Oh, we're going to get to that. Don't step on it.
No skipping
Go ahead,
it.
step on it.
No
What do you
skipping
got?
it.
I did not realize it was spelled the same.
Wedgie wood.
That's right. It's called Wedgwood because the original developer of this area was a big developer. And he first developed the land to the east on top of the hill. And he said to his wife, "Look at this view, dear. You've got a commanding view of Lake Washington. You can see the Olympics to this side.
It's got everything.
Can you believe the view from this ridge? I'm going to call it View
Ridge?
That's right. And his
Super
wife-
clever.
And his wife was like, "That is such a boring name." And he go, "Fair enough, you can name the next one." And she named it Wedgwood after her favorite English china. So in a roundabout way, Wedgwood is named after the potter Josiah Wedgwood, who started his pottery business 260 years ago and is today remembered as the father of English potters.
Huh.
And unlike the neighborhood,
I'm dropping that in the next party too.
Unlike the neighborhood, Josiah Wedgwood is super interesting. His grandson is Charles Darwin.
What?
Maybe you've heard of him.
What?
Get the fuck out of here.
Wait.
That's
The
right.
guy's name was Josiah?
Josiah Wedgwood.
So with a name like Josiah, he's got to be interesting.
No, totally.
That dude's got some stories.
His grandson is Charles Darwin, and Josiah pioneered many common sales techniques used today, such as direct mail, money-back guarantee, free delivery, celebrity endorsement, illustrated catalogs, and BOGO.
What? He invented that? Did
Yep.
he patent it?
I think so.
Good man.
Brad, tell our
Good
listeners
man.
what BOGO stands for.
I have no idea.
Oh!
Someone tell
Wow.
Brad. Bring him into the 21st century.
Buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one
BOGO.
free,
Buy one, get
sucker.
one.
Okay.
BOGO.
There
Yeah.
should be an F on the end then.
I think so. And also, he was granted permission to style himself Potter to Her Majesty
Oh.
after Queen Charlotte.
Is he knighted?
He is not knighted, but Queen
Oh.
Charlotte took a shine to his work. And after that happened, Wedgwood collections graced the tables of many monarchs and heads of state. And the most famous of his pottery.
I don't see any Wedgwood china. I don't see
pattern.
anything
Jasper.
near the table.
All right, let's go. The most famous of his
What?
Who? Pottery innovations is an unglazed fine stoneware called Jasperware.
Jasper.
It came in six.
Wait, Bob, you knew that?
It came in 6 unique colors upon which raised reliefs were placed, most iconically white magnolia blossoms. And one of those
why
6
have you
colors.
not dropped this knowledge before?
Show it to Brad. That is Wedgwood blue.
Oh,
Okay.
we got to post. We'll post some pictures on social because it's super relevant, and any dive bar aficionado will be like, "Why the fuck do I give a shit about this china?"
That's right. One of those 6 colors, a soft blue, took off and inspired other designers to use it in home interiors, lifestyle, fashion, and most recently on the Netflix show Bridgerton. Anybody here watch Bridgerton?
Absolutely.
Brad, does your wife watch Bridgerton?
Yes.
Of course. Bridgerton is about a high society family in London, and the fictional family's signature blue is Wedgwood blue. The production designer said that he wanted
with 2 E's or no?
The production designer said that he wanted the set of the home to be like being inside of a piece of Wedgwood ceramic with all those beautiful, beautiful soft blues
Yep.
and lots of creams. So now that you know, you'll
Mission
see
successful.
it. Yeah, when you're
Yeah.
looking at paint samples or you're buying that sweater online, looking at the colors, you might see Wedgwood blue. Wedgwood blue.
I would have to say the last sweater that I bought was Wedgwood blue. Yeah,
Nice.
absolutely. No.
I actually brought a Wedgwood blue sweater. It's in my bag. I was going to put it on, but I didn't put enough deodorant on it.
It's
My
like the
shirt
kind of
stinks.
blue that you would paint a baby's room in.
A little darker. It's like a little
Maybe a
darker
little
than baby
bit,
blue.
yeah.
Lou,
Exactly.
Lou
And
had
it's
a
kind of a
wedge-
satin finish.
Lou had a Wedgwood blue sweater vest. Let's be clear. I'm not judging. I'm just, clarifying.
So aside from Fiddler's Inn or The Rock, why do you come to Wedgwood, Jeremy?
Well, I mean, like we said, just down the street, Top Pot Donuts. It's a nice little shortcut over to Sandpoint. Lots of cool shit at Sandpoint. There's some pretty much like some other dive bars we've been to. There's some good grocery stores and hardware stores. And Ace Hardware just down the street, like we talked about before. So
Maple Leaf.
There's plenty of shit in this neighborhood. But you're absolutely right, though. It is very, very much a residential neighborhood. Right across the street, bunch of houses. Across the other street, bunch of houses. We are tucked in a bunch of houses. And like we said before, we are essentially in a house. Yes, it's a cool dive bar, but it's very much architecture is a house. Big ass windows and stuff all over.
Bob, why have you come to Wedgwood in the past? You went to The Rock?
I like to go to Wedgwood, stick it to the man, and climb the rock. Fuck that $100.
That's right.
Come and
Brad?
arrest me.
Or I'm en route to Magnuson Park.
There you go.
No, I never come to Wedgwood. I mean, there's nothing here. Fiddler's Inn, that's really about it.
No
I'm
one's
going to
ever...
pretend you didn't say that.
Yeah.
This is an awesome neighborhood.
Oh, it's a great neighborhood. I just don't like.
It's a wonderful neighborhood, but if it's not your final
nothing to draw
destination,
you in.
wouldn't.
Yeah. If you're not coming to Fiddler's Inn.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
I wouldn't mind living here. Actually, it's a cool little place. But yeah,
Yep.
And I'm proud of you guys. No one in this whole podcast went Beavis and Butthead on the name Wedgwood. I'd like to wedge my wood into that. Nothing? Come on, guys.
Yeah, good one.
So yeah, that's
The one listener who will appreciate that reference. Everybody else will be like, what the fuck are these guys talking about?
So yeah, that's where we're at.
Well,
What else we got, Brad?
we don't have much, but
Shit, we got to get going, man. We're
the
going to get
band's going
blasted
to
out
be
of
jamming
here.
here soon, so I
Yeah.
think we should probably knock it on the head here.
But before we knock it on the head, let's do a little housekeeping. Brad just posted a new article on historylink.org
Oh, yeah,
about
thank you.
Seattle's first drug problem.
Yeah, the first
Tell us
drug
more about
epidemic. Yeah, I just wrote an essay for History Link about the first drug epidemic in Seattle between 1880 and 1925. There were factories up in Victoria that were
Cranking
controlled by the
out.
British. They were cranking out processed opium, particularly a processed version of opium known as chandu that were popular in the opium dens. It was smokable opium. So this fueled...
It's kind of like the crack of
That's right.
It was
opium.
definitely
Yeah.
like the crack epidemic.
19th century
yeah.
crack.
And up and down the West Coast, San Francisco, Portland, Seattle, there were an abundance of these opium dens that were being fed this chandu from these Victorian opium factories. At the same time, pharmacies, you could go into a pharmacy and basically buy any kind of narcotic medication over the counter. There were also
Cocaine,
the first...
opium, heroin.
Yeah, you could just buy it over the counter. And then there were these early cocaine syndicates that opened shop in Seattle. They disguised themselves as messenger services. And people would call in on the early first telephones, place their order, and they'd send a messenger either on foot or on
Yeah, you want some
bicycle.
opium? Yeah, forget about it.
Yeah. So it was,
Yeah.
it was Seattle's, it was the first drug war in Seattle. Yeah, but yeah, thanks for bringing that up. It's available on History Link, so if you're interested in like early Seattle Vice, it's worth checking out.
And well written. It's a fantastic article, and there's all these illustrations of early opium kits and opium tins.
It's a
Yeah.
fun one to write.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very,
Yeah.
very cool.
Yeah.
Triple chamber opium water bong. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The vapes.
All right, so you guys ready to knock it on the head?
Well,
I
another
think so.
housekeeping note, real quick. If you're listening to this podcast on Spotify just released a whole bunch of new interactive features for podcasts, which is pretty cool. So keep your eye out for some some survey questions, some interactive capabilities on Spotify. So check it out on Spotify.
Excellent. Good job.
Like,
Look,
subscribe, and click, and whatever the fuck you do.
Look,
on
we're
Spotify.
being professional now. Please ask.
Absolutely. iHeartRadio. Yep.
We're on iHeartRadio?
We are. Yeah. We're also on Odyssey, Odyssey.com, and the Odyssey app. Shout out to Odyssey. Not an official sponsor, but they could be.
Hint, hint.
That's right. So when you're listening to the Bill Simmons podcast in KJR Seattle,
Fuck them.
fuck them. Team Lights
But
is
yeah.
right next to you.
Please do follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And, drop a comment. If you like what you hear, let us know.
Absolutely.
And, we like
Love
to hear from the
you.
listeners. But above all,
we can-
smash the like button.
Smash it.
Smash it.
Smash that shit. And, we got a pilot in development at NBC, so maybe Thursday night must-watch television
Couple movie deals in
Right
the
after-
works.
Coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah, that's right.
right after Friends. All right. Let's knock it on the head. They're about to start fiddling here and kicking off. So
From the Fiddler's Inn in Wedgwood.
Yeah.
Wedgwood.
Satan's Pilgrims, take us out.
Thanks, everybody.